What's going on, everyone? This is Jonathan Salmon. I'm back with another breakdown. This time going into the fight between Zabit Magomedsharipov versus Calvin Kattar. Now, this is a pretty interesting fight. I think this will determine exactly where each guy is in the division. Everyone is kind of looking at Zabit to be the next guy, the next ruler of featherweight. Whereas Calvin Kattar, he's been putting in workmanlike performances and really showing his class as well. So what I noticed from first Zabit is that in terms of his arsenal, a lot of people like to focus on the wild strikes, the crazy spinning technique, spinning back fist, spinning back kick, hook kicks, all that kind of flashy stuff, which I don't think he really throws unless he's super comfortable in a fight. He's not someone that's just going to throw it out there right as soon as the fight begins. Next thing you know, he comes out and does a tornado kick and finishes it in the first 10 seconds. But, from what I've been gathering, he doesn't just go out there and put the flash on right away. He kind of wants to work his way into a fight, kind of feel things out. And besides that, it's his really dynamic wrestling that everyone seems to be talking about. But I feel like with his game, it can be a very high energy kind of game. So I've noticed that in a few of his fights that make it to the third round, he has pretty good cardio, but he will slow down once he gets into the third round, especially if in the first and second rounds he's throwing a lot of high volume or high amplitude kind of techniques. What I mean is like big slams when he gets into a body lock, like a suplex, or doing like jumping off the cage and throwing a spinning kick. It's those kind of movements are very taxing on the cardio, and when he starts kind of leaning into that a bit, you will see his cardio just take a hit from that. So in this fight, I think what he'll want to do against Kattar is that using a lot of kicks, because Kattar is more of a boxer. So using a lot of kicks for Zabit is obviously a great road to success. But particularly from southpaw, I think he should stand that southpaw stance. We saw Calvin Kattar get his lead leg chewed up against Renato Moicano, and we saw in that fight that from the southpaw stance, Moicano was able to really target Kattar's lead leg and chew it up with leg kicks. So I'm thinking Zabit's going to want to take that same approach, also go to the body with those kicks. Like a lot of liver kicks will keep Kattar very honest. It will kind of keep his right hand actually at bay. He has a very quick right hand, kind of sets everything up with his jab, but his right cross is really fast. So throwing a lot of left body kicks to the right side of his body start to force him to defend that kick, or at least drop his right elbow. And from there, it's going to slow down his right hand. I also think, obviously besides the left kicks to the body, to the legs, to the head, he should definitely be watching for Kattar's jab. So if Zabit is in a orthodox stance, I say he watches for that jab and then try and pull back and use a cross counter, because I notice also that Kattar's jab, when he throws his jab, he kind of drops his arms a little bit. He doesn't bring it right back to his guard. So trying to time that jab and coming over the top with a right hand will be, which should actually bear some success for Zabit as well. He also is very proficient at ducking under punching attacks. If an opponent has a high volume of punching strikes, Zabit is very good at just ducking under and getting a body lock, or going to a double leg takedown, or transitioning to the clinch, or any of those. I think he should be focusing on that kind of reactive approach, and also stay away from the big slams. It's just unnecessary. I feel like he's better with his trips anyway. If he can get a slam, yeah, it's going to hype everyone up and everyone's going to cheer, but it's not going to matter if Kattar gets right back up to his feet. especially since he's pretty good at doing that. He's pretty proficient at getting up to his feet. So wasting the time and energy in a big slam, it just doesn't make any sense for Zabit. Just use that kind of the jab from Kattar to duck under, get into a body lock, and then strip out the legs from there. I think that's a smart approach for Zabit. As for Kattar, what I think he should be doing is, obviously he's going to want to use his jab. Can't abandon his jab. I think it's one of his best weapons. He's able to judge distance pretty well off of it. It's very fast. He doesn't throw his whole body or his whole shoulder into his jab. He really snaps the jab right from the elbow, so it makes it a little faster, a little more unpredictable. But I also think having, since he has a boxing heavy approach, he's going to want to really close distance on Zabit and keep the volume high. Jabbing to the head, jabbing to the body just to mix things up, level changing. Also going to the body with the right hand as well, right uppercuts to the body. Nothing to, just to touch Zabit and just keep him honest and keep him on the back foot. I think him pushing forward and having a high level of volume for Kattar will really kind of stifle Zabit, and then just kind of mixing things up to the body will potentially lead Zabit into running into like either a left or right hand when he goes for a duck under takedown. So he's going to want to be constantly changing levels throughout the entire fight and keeping Zabit honest with, a heavy dose to the body. But really, for Zabit, really combating Zabit, I think, is just about crowding him. He does well with check hooks and counters and things of that nature, but he's really more effective when he's dictating the pace. So Kattar's going to have to really dictate the pace and really hold center. He's going to have to force Zabit to kind of move on the outside. Even though Zabit is probably a little bit more comfortable on the outside than Kattar would be, I think controlling center will kind of dictate where and when action is going to be taking place in this fight. So definitely, he's gotten better, Kattar has, with checking kicks since the Moicano fight. I'm not exactly sure how well he'll be able to check Zabit's attacks when he goes into southpaw, but I think we also saw Kattar adapt in this way of switching his stance as well. So he'll back out and switch his stance and to kind of get space and then regroup and come back to center. And I think that's what he should focus on when Zabit starts going to southpaw. And from there, coming in with heavy right hands. As soon as Zabit chooses to go to the southpaw, he should just immediately start firing the right straight right down the middle and force Zabit to move away off into the cage. Zabit likes to move a lot, and because of that, he will oftentimes find himself on the outskirts of the cage, like right about to touch the fence. So I feel like if Kattar just kind of focuses on throwing that right hand when Zabit is in southpaw, forcing him to back up, and then trying to cut off the cage after that, I think there's going to be a really good approach to kind of stifle Zabit's game, especially his spinning attacks, his explosive techniques. He may even force Zabit just to shoot from the cage, which is a good thing because he'll be able to kind of gauge whether or not Zabit will want to engage in the wrestling. He'll know exactly what kind of options he has once he forces him up against the cage. He won't want to really throw a bunch of offense. More than likely, Zabit's going to cover up and then either look for a chance to exit out the side doors or go for a takedown, and Kattar can kind of use that to his advantage. So if you like this breakdown, you can give me a like, subscribe. I will be dropping more content in the future, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.